Got a suggestion from Wicked Foxy Dragon. Thank you, Foxy, on this Friday Peace Talks. Midas Touch. And one of their contributors is talking about a message from a voter in a deep red state, which they say has gone mega viral. I'm intrigued.
Now I know this one's going to rub a whole lot of people the wrong way, but I really don't care. I'm going to say it anyway. Not electing Hillary Clinton in 2016 will go down as one of the biggest mistakes in our nation's history. I don't give.
Oh, God. I cannot tell you how sick it makes me to admit that that is true. Oh, okay. I mean, he's right. It's like saying you really should have amputated the arm because now you got to amputate that and both your legs. The infection spread. Like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's just not pretty. Ugh.
A shit what you think of Hillary Clinton. I don't care if you love her or hate her.
Fair.
I don't care if you love the Democratic Party or you hate the Democratic Party.
Fair.
The Supreme Court justices that was nominated under Donald Trump would not have been nominated under Hillary Clinton.
He's, for a number of reasons, he was right, but that alone, yeah, he's dead on. Good suggestion, Foxy. This guy's got he's spitting facts.
And the bullshit that we see coming out of the Supreme Court today would not be.
And if those aviators aren't lying, the man's got a solid grill set up as well.
Happening had she took office in 2016. I don't give a rat's ass about Donald Trump's policy. I don't give a rat's ass about his mean tweets. His presidency set us back 100 years. And there's a whole lot of people out there celebrating. Oh, look, we got it. We won something. You didn't win shit. All you did was trample on fellow Americans' rights, stuff that would have never affected you or bothered you in the least. That's why
100% true. Except, I do give a shit about his policy. His policy also set us back significantly. However, I realize who he's addressing here. And without having any understanding of what policy they're actually talking about, without being able to name a specific policy or describe what it does, a lot of Trump voters will say the thing they liked about him was the policy he supports, without realizing that it was deregulation for banks, deregulation for various industries, increasing tariffs that American citizens have to pay for foreign products. So they don't know what tariffs are. They think the other countries are paying for them, but they're not. It's just higher taxes on American citizens. And, of course, giving tax cuts to the rich. Those were his policies. But I get what he's saying. All right, let's let him go.
I call bullshit on this whole idea that you won't smile our government and don't tread on me. That's why I always call that bullshit flag out for the bullshit flag that it is. You don't give a rat's ass if the flag is trampling all over other people. If you disagree with their lifestyle or you disagree with where they come from, you're perfectly okay with your government just walking all over top of those people. You'll sit back here on 4th of July weekend and you'll brag about being free. Meanwhile, there's a shit ton of Americans that don't feel quite as free today. And if they're...
This is such a good point. I think we should, when given the opportunity, confront these folks on that. If somebody is out there preaching hate, but they've got a "Don't Tread on Me" bumper sticker or shirt or whatever, point it out. Be like, so it's fine to trample on other Americans. You literally mean don't tread on just me personally because you're a snake. Because you'll bite someone because you got poison in you. You don't mean don't tread on people. You just mean don't tread on the snakes, I guess. That is an excellent point this man has made.
They're not free, they ain't none of us free. What is it y'all love to say to us? Well, if they could do it to Trump, they could do it to you. That works both ways, Scooter.
Boom.
If they can do this to your fellow Americans, they can do it to you. But actually, they don't have to do it to you because they've already got you. They've already duped you into voting for them. They've already duped you into chasing that carrot by dangling all these stupid-ass culture wars under your nose. And you'll sit there and follow it to hell and back while your pensions drift away, while everything you ever invested drifts away, while your whole future crumbles. You'll be sitting over here going, yeah, go woke, go broke.
Boom.
Or whatever
Got 'em.
fucking cliche they taught you to say yesterday.
Got him.
It's bullshit. And I'll sit here and call it out till the end of time. Now, a whole lot of people told us back in 2016 when Trump was elected, hey, just relax. Maybe it won't be as bad as you think it's going to be. But we all knew exactly how bad it was going to be because we saw through Donald Trump back then, and so did Hillary Clinton. Take a look at this clip and watch how spot on she is
all right.
describing Donald Trump and how things are going to pan out.
You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him. The FBI conducted a year-long investigation into my emails. They concluded there was no case. He said the FBI was rigged. He lost the Iowa caucus. He lost the Wisconsin primary. He said the Republican primary was rigged against him. Then Trump University gets sued for fraud and racketeering. He claims the court system and the federal judge is rigged against him. There was even a time when he didn't get an Emmy for his TV program 3 years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against him.
Should have gotten it.
This is a mindset. This is how Donald thinks. And it's funny, but it's also really troubling.
Even he's nodding. It is troubling. Yeah, I'm a real disaster. I probably shouldn't have this job. I think it it might have been Woodward's book, Fear, that was talking about Donald Trump leading up to inauguration. And no, not even that. It was election night. Horrified that he was winning. As scared as the rest of us. As aware as the rest of us that he should not have the job. I don't think he was running to win. But truth be told, if you want to know why I get so angry at Merrick Garland and the entirety of the U.S. Department of Justice, this is why. We are being gaslit that this has to be a complicated thing to investigate. It's really not. What she just said was a fully accurate breakdown in 2015, for God's sake. In 2015. All the times he said it was rigged. Every time he loses, that's what he says. Like a particularly shitty kid. That's what he says. But we refused to hold him to account. We let him go on being a tyrant. We had too many Republicans in Congress to throw him out of office. He ought to have been impeached, first of all, more than the 2 times he was. He ought to have been impeached a dozen times. And there shouldn't have been any question about whether or not people will vote for the impeachment. This truly should not have happened. A hell of a lot of the safeties that were built in to the United States government failed. They failed with corrupt Republicans and weak Democrats. And we cannot let this happen again.
Okay. No, that is not the way our democracy works. We've been around for 240 years. We've had free and fair elections. We've accepted the outcomes when we may not have liked them. And that is what must be expected of anyone standing on a debate stage during a general election.
So if there ever was a championship in the I told you so department, Hillary Clinton would be the undisputed champion because she called it spot on exactly how it would happen. A whole lot of people back then said, oh, just give Donald Trump a chance. Maybe it might not be so bad. But we all saw through Donald Trump a long time ago, just like Hillary Clinton did. We saw the type of campaign that he ran. We came from an era where when Howard Dean simply screamed at a rally, People said he was unfit and unstable to be president. We came from an era where George H.W. Bush just simply looked at his watch a couple of times during the Clinton debates and pretty much lost that election to Bill Clinton. We came from an era where Dan Quayle was mocked relentlessly for not being able to spell potato. And then we saw Donald Trump come along and get away with mocking prisoners of war. We heard what he said about John McCain. Did we agree with John McCain's politics? No, but we respected John McCain's service to our country. We respected the fact that he was captured and he was tortured. And Donald Trump sits back and says, oh, well, I like prisoners that didn't get caught. And I thought, oh, this will do it. Oh, these patriotic Republicans, they'll all come down on his head now. Nope. They all jumped on board and insulted McCain further. And I'm going, wait a minute, I thought we had respect for veterans. What are y'all doing? We saw Donald Trump brag about grabbing women by the pussy. And I thought, oh, the evangelicals, they'll hang him for this one. They'll never let him get by with that. He'll never be able to disrespect women that way, and the evangelicals go for it. Nope, they stayed quiet.
Okay, let's reflect on why that was, though, because I think now we know. It was because we had seen all of these silly little things before that didn't matter. Disqualify people. All these things. Couldn't spell potato. Well, okay, that's a little embarrassing, but does that really speak to somebody's character? We have autocorrect now. People don't really, it's not exactly a mortal sin to misspell a word. I've misspelled titles of streams, which I do professionally, multiple times. Sitting in the tank and looking awkward, yeah, it's just somebody looking like a dork. Somebody being a bit rude on the debate stage, checking their watch. None of that was substance. None of that was actually what their presidency was going to be all about. Howard Dean hollered. I don't think people were aware, or the average voter was conscious of these individual things at the time. But I do think we all had a sense that that was the sort of thing that used to get you disqualified. And we were sick of the way leadership was in the United States. We were sick of the way we were being governed. Barack Obama promised change. That was his slogan. Just change. Because that's what America wanted. Wildly popular in the polls. He was wildly popular and wildly unpopular. I wonder why. Hilary Clinton represented more of the same. He's right. More of the same would have been better than what we got, without a doubt. But we have to understand what happened. We have to be conscious of that. And we have to know that the new Democrats, the Democrats of this era that we are entering into right now, hell, that we're building right now, the Democrats of this era have got to walk the walk. They cannot just talk the talk, because we'll get another Trump. We're going to have to work hard to earn the rest of Biden's presidency. But if he gets the House, first of all, he needs to get the House, Senate, and White House. Obviously the White House. But he needs to also get the House and Senate in 24. Because he needs the opportunity to actually do something for the American people. Because right now we just look like it's back to stabilizing. And another coalition will try to break what we have in another way. And people will pour over it like it's some new phenomenon. But it's just going to be the same thing. The hopeful version of it was tried with Obama. And it's going to be based off just vibes. Obama seemed like he would be positive change, but he failed to deliver. So then we got destruction, which is what Trump promised. Destruction. Guaranteed change then. for sure. So, with Biden's second term, inshallah, we're going to have to make sure he has the ability to actually perform for the American people. And then we're going to have to pressure him. Otherwise, once again, the American people are going to look for a drastic option. Let's see how this man brings it home.
Why? Because Donald Trump was willing to push their agenda. And because Donald Trump had empowered all this hatred that they had had built up in them for years. We were all naive. We all thought that racism was getting better. At least I did. I thought, well, we're making progress. Things are getting better. We've elected the first black president. So things have to be getting better. We have to be turning some kind of corner. No, we weren't. Because over here was all these people sitting here with all those feelings bubbling, and Donald Trump came along and he empowered that, and he gave them permission to say the quiet parts out loud.
True. It's more than just that he was the first, Obama was the first black president, though. It's that we had our first black president, and there wasn't a big change. I don't blame Barack Obama for thinking that he had to be more of a custodian than a leader, because he didn't want to spoil it for the next black president. At least that's the impression that I get. He didn't want to shake things up all that much. He tried to give us something with the Affordable Care Act, but at the same time, he let it get butchered. And he didn't fight particularly hard for Supreme Court nominations. So it wasn't just that it was a black president. It's that the only thing as a white person in modern America that let you feel like you were the king of something in some way was the idea, if you were kind of a shitty person, was the idea that the presidency had only ever been held by a white man, and then that was taken away too. And it wasn't necessarily the presidency itself. It was just sort of that knowledge that some things were reserved for just white men. So to have that go away and to get nothing for it, I think that sparked a lot of the anger. It's racist anger. It's a terrible thing to let get you mad. But again, I don't think all of these were very conscious thoughts, you know? I think it was as simple as, well, things are still just as bad, and now when I look at the president, I see someone that looks nothing at all like me. I can't even pretend I'm that person as easily. Regardless, the answer is going to be government that actually works for people.
And we saw his presidency unfold. We saw what a disaster it was. We saw the disaster that was January 6th. And we're still sitting here saying, this man's a narcissist. This man can't accept defeat. This man, won't accept the results of an election. We're still going on about it. And had we just elected Hilary Clinton, we would have never been in any of this mess. It would have just been something we could look back at as kind of a comical, funny idea. Like, remember that time Donald Trump actually thought he had a shot in hell of being president? That's what we should be saying today. It should be like one of those candidacies where you just say, well, remember when that guy thought it might be a good idea and he flopped and burned really quick? That's what should have happened. But instead, a lot of people didn't go to the polls in 2016. There was a whole lot of people that got mad over things and was like, I ain't voting. There was a whole lot of people voted third party. Look, I was a Bernie bro. I was upset that Bernie didn't get the nomination. But I saw what was at hand. And I remember Hillary saying this too. I remember her saying a Republican president could stack the Supreme Court. And that's where everything happens, folks. That's why when all these things are happening today and we're upset about it, that's why. Hillary tried to warn us. You don't have to like her politics. You don't have to like the Democrats' politics. But if you care about your fellow Americans and their rights, you're watching them be stripped away on a daily basis. And like I said earlier, if it can happen to them, it can happen to you too. But at the end of the day, they've got you. They've got you playing into their culture wars, and you don't see what's important.
Didn't mean to cut him off at the very end there, but there was like 5 more seconds. I thought it was a plug. Anyway, mostly agreed. Although I must say, I wonder, what if Hillary would have eked out a victory? Who would be president right now? Hillary, do you think? I wonder, truly. Imagine if Hillary had just barely eked out a victory and then experienced COVID, like the rest of the world did, and then got piled on. Maybe she wouldn't be president. Maybe she would be. I truly don't know. But we would have had a hell of a lot more of this neoliberal nonsense. Now, truth be told, we would have had a much better Supreme Court. No denying that. I mean, the world would be better. But we still would have been doing the same old, kicking the can down the road. We have learned now the can be kicked no farther. No matter what happens, whether things end up good or bad, they will happen because of our actions. There is no more tying in American politics. Frankly, look around the world. Clock's ticking with global warming. The era of imperialism is ending in an ugly way. I guess it was too much to ask for it to die quietly. We are not able to pretend like everything is fine, like everything is good, just because it's bearable. Bad guys are going to keep pushing us. They're going to keep pushing us until we fall off a cliff. I think he's right. The worst mistake in voting history might have been not electing Hillary in 2016. Ugh, it's a bad taste in my mouth. Or in 2015, I guess I should say. But at the very least, it looks like we just might survive this, and hopefully we will have learned something. Hopefully we will have learned that it's time to perform for the American people.